Greetings, YouTube. I want to read a little blurb here for you. This is from Hate Watch. White Nationalist Conference lists former congressman and current GOP congressional candidate as speakers. It says a former Republican congressman and current GOP congressional candidate are expected to join several prominent white nationalist propagandists and a former Klan lawyer in November at one of the longest-running annual white supremacist gatherings Hate Watch has learned. Okay. Um, White nationalist gatherings shouldn't exist. Period. Now, I understand that there are going to be the First Amendment absolutists. They're going to start ramping up their battle cries and limbering up their fingers to start typing at me in a second. But you see, white nationalism is terrorism. Period. The very philosophy of white nationalism, the philosophical concept of white nationalism, is a terrorist act. You cannot entertain it without also entertaining the active assault, oppression, expulsion, and killing of gay people and trans people and immigrants and non-Christians. You can't. For white nationalism to function as any kind of a political concept in the United States, it is an act of terrorism. They should just go to that conference and arrest every single one of them on terrorist acts, because the concept itself is terrorism. Every person that adheres to a white nationalistic ideology is adhering to a terrorist philosophy and quite possibly actively involved in planning terrorist acts. Say, for example, stripping people of their civil liberties, changing the laws so people don't have control over their own bodies, don't have the ability to marry those that they love. If you're taking rights away from them, that's a terrorist act. But beyond that, remember that when Roe v. Wade was actually ruled almost 50 years ago, the response from the right was to kill people, was to murder people, it was to plant bombs, it was to use arson, it was to intimidate, it was to threaten, it was to hound and harass. They did everything in their power to hurt people, to impose their ideology on others. And the white nationalists are no different. And there's a lot of overlap between the people that wanted Roe v. Wade to go away and white nationalists. It's not quite a circle, but there's a lot of overlap in that particular group of people. There's a lot of people in the Roe v. Wade destruction camp that really want more white domestic children because they're afraid that white people are going to disappear. And I got to tell you right now, and this is not aimed at anyone in particular, but I'm really tired of white people. I'm sick of them. Their bullshit has just ramped up to the point where I can't fathom how everyone isn't understanding you're drowning in it. And these white nationalists are the worst example, the most egregious example of what danger white people can pose to the world at large. These white nationalists are terrorists, and they need to be treated like terrorists. Personally, I'd be really happy with stripping them of their citizenship and exiling them, just kicking their asses off the continent. Let them go live in Russia. Let them go move to Turkey. There's lots of authoritarian people out there that would, governments that would just love a bunch of more white people to take under the fold, tuck under their wing, and use as, fodder for their politics and for their wars and their oppression in their country of all the folks they don't like. White nationalism is terrorism. There's no way to get around the fact that white nationalism is terrorism. It always has been and always will be. It is not an ideology. It is not something that we can discuss or debate. There is no debate. There's none. We need to eliminate it. We need to teach children from the youngest age that it's evil. And we need to expose them for what they are. But those that actually claim to be it, those to actually stand there on their podiums and preach it, yeah, we need to exile their asses.